Welcome to Cambridge High School for Bobcat basketball tonight, presented on Channel 2. And the Bobcats tonight will be taking on the new Philadelphia Quakers. This is simulcast on 96.7 as well as Channel 2, presented by the CHS broadcasting class. And John Charlton, along with this Bill Kafuri, along with John Charlton. It got mixed up here, said. And John, as we talked a moment ago on air on radio, the Cats tonight come in at 7-4, the Quakers at 8-2. A huge game in league play for the Cats tonight to defend the home court.
That's right. Bobcats come in at 5-1. New Philly at 3-1 in the league. Of course, Bobcats lost their first home game of the season against Marietta the other night. They want to bounce back strong and prove that they can defend that home floor, that home court, and keep that home court advantage. A great crowd here tonight, as we mentioned, to cheer on the Bobcats.
The Quakers will be starting tonight. Will McEwen, a 6-foot junior. Also out on the floor, Cody Cox, 5'10". He averages 10 points a game. He's a junior as well. The big guy, though, John Stevenson, at 6'5", just a junior. So there are some youth, but some big guys there for these Quakers as well. Tyler Dumermuth also getting the start tonight for the Quakers, as well as Tyler Corns. He is the lone senior that will be starting. For the Bobcats, Shane Leggett, 6'1" senior. 5'8" senior Thomas Norris, 6-foot junior Ryan Hatmaker in the starting lineup. They will be joined on the floor by the big guys inside. Jordan Linscott at 6'4" and a junior, and Taylor Lepla, a 6'3" senior. And that indeed is where the Bobcats' strength lies, with those big guys in the paint, and certainly the quickness of Thomas Norris. If he gets off quick, the Bobcats seem to hit on all cylinders.
That's right. Thomas Norris is the type of player that can take over a game. He can penetrate, he can pass, he can rebound, he can do it all. And if he gets into the game early and gets going early, then he's going to cause trouble for New Philadelphia. On the other hand, the Bobcats got to keep John Stevenson from getting involved early. He's a big guy, 6'5" guy, gets the ball down the post, and he can score, as we saw in the first matchup, pretty much at will. The Bobcats are going to have to body up on him, maybe run several different guys in on him to get physical with him, but they got to find some way to not stop him, because I don't know that he's stoppable, but to contain him.
Bobcats lost that earlier matchup, as we said, 61-45, second game of the year at New Philadelphia without the full contingent of players, and Stevenson had a field day inside. One of the keys for the Cats tonight is keep the big guys like Taylor Lepla, Jordan Linscott on the floor and out of foul trouble.
Absolutely. Taylor likes to foul. We've seen the last couple games he's done a pretty good job of staying out of trouble.
He will be jumping center with John Stevenson. The officials are ready. We're ready. Hope you are too. Ball's up, tip back, and the Cats will control the tip. And it will be Norris that starts things out for the Bobcats. In the opening possession, man-to-man for the Quakers to the high post. Hand it off, left side, back to Norris. Looking inside for the post feed. There it is to Linscott. He'll turn around, put it up, and knock it down. And the Bobcats get on top 2-zip.
Good job by the Bobcats getting a bucket on the opening drive.
They executed that possession very well. Back at the other end on offense, Will McEwen. Out on the right wing. He'll hand it off to Cox. Brings it back to the top of the key. Man-to-man defense for the Cats as well. Cox off the dribble. Left side to Corns. They'll reverse it right side now, McEwen. He also looking inside. Back out on top to Dumermuth. Off the dribble. Can't penetrate very far. Back to the top of the key. Dribble penetration by Cox. Inside out pass to McEwen. The Cats playing good defense.
Good man-to-man, solid defense there by the Bobcats.
Their opening possession denying anything inside. Dribble move by Dumermuth. A good athlete on the floor. And a tough matchup for Taylor Lepla, and he'll draw the foul out away from the basket, first on the Bobcats.
Dumermuth would be a tough matchup for anybody. He's got good size, good body width, but also good quickness.
Inbound to Stevenson in the paint. He didn't have a shot available. Leggett on him, giving up a few inches, but pretty quick. 3-ball put up that time by Dumermuth, an air ball. The Cats will pull it down and push the pace. Quickly into the paint. Norris draws the defense and finds a wide open Jordan Linscott for his second hoop, and the Cats lead it 4-0.
2 assists for Norris as well.
Drawing the defense and dishing it off. Linscott finishing up inside for the Quakers. Again, Dumermuth off the dribble penetration, kisses it off the glass, and it's 4-2. Bobcats on top, 6:20 left in the opening period. Hatmaker off the handoff to Leggett on the left wing. Bobcats shuffle it around inside, kick it out to Norris. He'll try to break the defense down, kick it on the wing to Leggett, back to Norris. Deep three by Norris. That will hit the front of the rim, kept alive on the long rebound by Hatmaker. His pass out on top, stolen away. Tyler Corns takes it coast to coast, puts up the runner, doesn't get the roll, kept alive inside and then tipped out of bounds. Last touch by Cody Cox. Back to the Bobcats, who lead it 4-2. 5:55 left opening period. Bobcats with a narrow lead in the ball. I haven't seen either team press much yet, but that's been part of both teams' game. And Leggett tried to make a move, and what they call the offensive foul as he pushed off
as he went by.
No, actually, it's going to be called on Jordan Linscott.
Pushing off.
An illegal pick there.
Illegal pick, moving.
Moving pick. So the Cats will give it up. On top, 4-2. 5.5 left opening period. On the right wing, Corns feeds it to Dumermuth. Tried to get it down low to Stevenson. That pass was hard to handle. Picked up by Norris. Gives it up to Leggett on the left wing. Back to Norris on top, and the Cats will set up their offense. Hatmaker looks inside. High post, low post feed right to Jordan Linscott, and that time the assist goes to Lepla, and Linscott has all 6 Bobcat points, and they lead at 6-2.
And if that was hockey, you'd have 2 assists because that was quick passing there. Nice ball movement.
Cox off the dribble. Gives it up to McEwen. Norris on him. Reaching for the steal. Back out on top. Under 5 to go opening period. Cats by 4 as Cox resets. Right side. McEwen looking inside for Stevenson, and he just can't get open. Linscott and Lepla keeping him covered up inside. Back out on top, Cox, and the Cats again playing outstanding half-court defense. On the reach in, the steal by Hatmaker gives it up to Norris. He'll try to take it coast to coast. The floater drops good, and Norris gives the Cats a 6-point lead, and a timeout on the floor taken by the Quakers. 8-2, Bobcats on top. We'll be back right after this. Back at the Cats lair, a good start for the Bobcats tonight as they're on top 8-2, and certainly the energy level is a lot better than it was just a couple of nights ago, John.
Very much so. Thomas Norris doing a nice job of penetrating and creating on the offensive end. Good ball movement, and really they have 2 turnovers, but one of those was a kind of a push-off offensive foul, so really no turnover problems to speak of early going.
Quakers off the timeout, feed it inside. Dumermuth, he'll power his way to the basket, puts it up short. And Lepla there to rule the boards again, gives it up to Norris. Pass, tried to get it to Hatmaker, breaking to the basket, playing a passing lane is Corns. He'll bring it back the other way. McEwen's shot partially deflected, and the rebound comes down to Leggett. Under 4 minutes to play, the Cats will slow it down with an 8-2 lead.
Does that count as a block or not?
Deflection is a block.
So that gives, he ties Hot Rod, Jeremy Harper for the block, career block list.
There you go. Norris has had a lot of them this year. And moving up the board individually. Cats working it outside. Lepla will take the 16-footer and knock it down, count the basket, and a foul. And I believe that will go against the Bobcats. Jordan Linscott, who has asserted himself physically and offensively. It's his 2nd foul, and he's got 6 points, so he will take a quick break. Hatmaker will take a seat for the Bobcats. LePage checks in, as does Winston Turner. Turner has been instant offense for the Bobcats off the bench this year.
Turner's one of those kids that brings it hard every game. And he's on the floor, he's going full speed.
Averages about 9 points a game. Cats lead at 10-2. Norris with the steal, breakaway, takes it coast to coast. Fouled on the way to the basket as Tyler Corns caught up with him. And Norris just didn't quite have a firm grip on that ball. I don't think he was going for the dunk or anything, but he certainly was going to be able to pick up an easy 2. Instead, he'll head to the line. Corns picks up his first, team's first, and Thomas Norris, shooting at 74% on the season, heads to the line. And the first one will increase that average as it drops through.
Winston Turner not on the floor but 15 seconds and helps create that turnover. That extra pressure forced him into a bad pass that Norris was able to pick off.
The 11-2, Bobcats on top, 3:28 left first period. Second one up and off the back of the iron, and the rebound comes down to Stevenson. He'll give it up to Matt Burek, who just checked into the game. Burek off the dribble, penetrates the right side. Gives it up to Cox. He stops, pops, cha-ching. Cody Cox from deep outside, and it's 11-5. He didn't need much time or much room to get that 3-ball off. 3:05 left in the period.
Cox is shooting 36% from the 3-point line on the season.
The Quakers change up defenses. They'll go 2-3. Trap out of it. Norris, right side, his 3-ball short. Turner with the rebound, sticks it up and in. And when you go zone, sometimes it's tough to check everyone out. Norris gets an offensive rebound, something that he probably has a dozen of, if that, all year. But that one came at a key time. Cats up 13-5.
Good job by Winston Turner.
2:40 left in the first quarter, and the Bobcats have led it from the outset. High-low pass. DiMatteo has his pass tipped away, and again, Norris will bring it coast to coast, lay it off inside to Turner, and they'll call the charge. Holding his position in that low post area that time was Tyler Corns, and Norris went airborne, and he was out of control and ends up turning it over.
Typically, if you have a collision and you're under control, it's okay. If you get airborne, they're going to call the charge on you about every time.
13-5 after the Bobcats give it up. 2:20 left in the period. Turner hawking the ball all the way up the court. Cox gives it up. Slash to the paint. Inside by Tyler Corns, and he's hacked and will head to the line as well. The Bobcats picking up some fouls. That one on Shane Leggett, his first, and as a team, the 5th on the Bobcats.
Getting close to putting New Philly into the bonus.
13-5, and Corns makes it 13-6. Tyler Corns on the season is 71% free throw shooter for the Quakers. Second opportunity is up and perfect as well. So the Quakers cut the lead in half with 2:17 to go. And the Bobcats again will face extended zone pressure. Norris lobs it to Turner, who looks to the high post, nothing there, reverses it back to the left side. Off the dribble. Leggett back out on the right wing. Norris penetrates, kicks it out, wide open for three. Leggett puts it up. That one rolls around and it drops down. Bullseye. Needed a little help.
A lot of touch by Leggett. Good shooter's touch.
And on the steal, Turner to Norris. And yes, +1. Thomas Norris, and again, credit the quick hands of Winston Turner to come up with the steal, and Norris right there for the easy bucket. He'll lay it in, and the foul will be on Matt Burek, his first. 18-7, and Norris for the three-point play chance stands at the line. And again, he's off the mark. An anomaly. 1 for 3 at the line, but the Cats lead at 18-7. Off the dribble. Burek nearly loses the handle again, picks it up right side to Stevenson, way up away from the basket, left open, top of the key. He'll launch it up there, and that's just a 2, a foot on the line, and it's about as far away as you can shoot a 2. But he knocked it down, and he showed the kind of range that as a big guy he has.
That's right, and the Bobcats had a man on him, and it backed off and left him open. You just can't leave him open. He'll knock him down all day, I think, from out there.
6'5" junior, and he's got that kind of range. That could be scary by the time he's a senior. 18-9, Bobcats with the lead. Under 1.5 left here in the opening period. Bobcats against man-to-man this time down. We've seen the Quakers change it up a couple of times. Back to Leggett. He'll take another 3. Perfect this time. Cha-ching. That one needed no help. Nothing but the bottom of the net. And the Cats lead it 21-9. Cox, crossover dribble against Turner to the foul line. Kicks it out to Burek. He'll go baseline. Stop, pop. That one way over the top of the basket. Lepla with the rebound. Has to battle for it. And then give it up to Leggett. Double teamed in the backcourt. He'll dribble out of that and lead a fast break to the top of the key. Down in the paint. Hands it off to Norris. He is hammered by Tyler Corns, who picks up foul number 2. And Norris will head back to the line to see if he can regain that shooting touch. 21-9 with 48 ticks to go. Norris to shoot his 4th and 5th free throws of the period. So the Bobcats
getting to the free throw line like we said they needed to do.
They just need to make him now.
Right.
Thomas is just a little bit jacked out of sorts here. He's made 1 of 4. And remember, he came in shooting 74% at the line on the season with a lot of chances. You got to think the more he shoots him, the better he's going to get here, though.
Well, let's hope he's nailing him by the 4th quarter then. 21-9.
Cats don't need him now. But this will be his 5th opportunity in the opening period, and that one is off the mark. Dumermuth with the rebound, out ahead to Burek. Bobcats get Ben Shepard into the ball game. Burek pulls up and knocks down a 15-footer. His first bucket of the night, 21-11. Cats by 10 with 30 seconds to go. We'll see if they hold it for 1 here. Norris across the timeline, and he'll try to pull the defense out, and it does look like the Bobcats will go into a delay against man-to-man defense. A little triangle action on top. Norris with McEwen on him. Turner with Cox on him, and Leggett will be the 3 Bobcats down to the 10-second mark. Now Norris will set up the play. Hands it off to Turner. Back to Norris, right wing in the corner. Leggett, 3 seconds. Tries to feed it inside. Now he'll put up the jumper. No good. And LePage had a catch and couldn't stick it back in at the buzzer, but the Bobcats do everything else right in the period after 1. Cambridge on top by 10, 21-11. We'll be back after this. Back at the Cats Lair to start the second period of play. 21-11. Bobcats on top after a very productive opening period.
Yeah, where was this team at on Friday or Tuesday, I guess, against Marietta?
Maybe it's you lose 2, win 7, lose 2, win 7. That's not a bad streak to go on.
How's that work out for the state tournament, I wonder?
21-11. Cats will start the second period on the defensive end of the floor. Cox out on top, works against Norris, feeds it to the high post. Dumermuth turns around, takes it right to the paint, knocks it down, and 1. Dumermuth got 2 points in the first period. He'll add to that and draw another foul on the Bobcats. They're 6th as a team in the first on Mr. LePage, who just checked in. And the Bobcats finding themselves. Linscott already there with 2, and Dumermuth's free throw is good. 3-point play opportunity cuts the Cats' lead to 7. Norris to the top of the key. Man-to-man defense this time out by the Quakers. To Turner, off the dribble right side, back to Norris. In the corner. Leggett, who just canned 2 threes at the end of that period, takes it in the paint, kicks it to Turner in the corner. He's open for 3. Cha-ching! Winston Turner with a wide open look, and he knocks the 3 ball down. The Bobcats are firing on all cylinders here tonight.
3 of 5 from the 3-point line, 9 of 12 in the first quarter from the field.
24-14, Cats on top by 10. Dumermuth move in the corner into the paint, throws it up over his shoulder, loose ball, and it's run down by DiMatteo. Tries to feed it back inside, and Dumermuth again will draw the foul. And we talked about how tough a matchup that is for anybody. And Luke LePage, who's a little taller but not quite as quick, couldn't catch up with Dumermuth, and he hacks him for his second foul of the night. 7th on the team, and that brings Kyle Cox in. He will replace Leggett.
Well, we talked about maybe having to bring several big guys in to kind of match up with Dumermuth and Stevenson. Doing a pretty good job on Stevenson tonight.
Dumermuth missed that one as it was a 1-and-1 opportunity, and it stays 24-14. Lepla will wait at the scorer's table to check in here momentarily. Norris picks up the dribble right side, lobs it back left side, bad pass, stolen away that time by Dumermuth, and he'll be fouled on the open floor and go to the line again. And the Bobcats will check in a couple of subs on this break. And Dumermuth heads back to the line for another 1-and-1 chance. A little early to get a team at the line as LePage will check out, Lepla back in. And also for the Bobcats, Ryan Hatmaker back into the ballgame. Dumermuth with 5 in the early going as this team is down 10. And his first free throw is up and good. He'll earn the bonus. 18 fouls on the Cats, only 3 on the Quakers. And the second one, in and out, no good. Shepard pulls it down for the Cats. Over to Turner. Cross-court pass, bad pass again, stolen away by Cox. He'll feed it off to Dumermuth. He'll lay it up, and that one will roll off the front of the rim. And Turner will try to save it out of bounds, and he will touch it last. And the ball kind of hung on the rim, and the players up around it a little bit. Coach Vogt calling for maybe a little offensive interference, and he might have had a good argument on that one.
We have to check the replay on that, but yeah, certainly.
Feed down low. DiMatteo had it knocked out of his hands as he went to the hoop. Looked like Cox got a little piece of that one. Kyle, not real tall, but he plays very well close to the basket. The long pass in out on top to Cody Cox. 24-15, Bobcats. Cox left open for 3. He'll take it. Cha-ching. Cody Cox has 2 threes on the night, and we saw these Quakers not even attempt a 3 till the 4th period before Hatmaker goes hard to the hoop, battle for the rebound, and Lepla will lose it out of bounds. And quickly, the Cats will make another substitution. Leggett back in the game for Shepard. 6:07 left in the opening half. Cambridge on top by 6.
Bobcats need to keep that intensity up right now. Quakers making a little bit of run.
Cox and Hatmaker. Out on top to Dumermuth. He tries to hand it off to Burek. He has to chase it down and beats Turner to it. On the right side, DiMatteo looking inside for a post feed. Tried to get it to Dumermuth and knocked out of bounds by hustling Lepla. And we're going to say that touched last by the Quakers. So Lepla did a little magic with that one.
He did a little lobbying down there and got his point across, apparently.
They just stood out of bounds till they handed it to him and they gave it to him. There you go. Cats got the ball back with a 6-point lead. 5.5 left opening half. Hatmaker hands it off inside. Lepla, the bull in the china shop, tries to power his way to the hoop. Gives it back up out on top. Hatmaker stops and pops. No good. Lepla with the rebound. Turnaround jump hook, and he's fouled. And we'll head to the line. That foul on Matt Burek. His first, or second that is, and the team's fourth. And Lepla with free throw chances. So the free throws are coming a little bit more into play for the Bobcats. They had 5 chances in the first period, only hit 1 of those. Lepla will get 2 more here. Taylor, first one. A little flat, but it stays in there. Taylor on the season, 51.5%. So 51.5%.
He must have kind of one of those that went all the way down and back out.
That's the half. Second one, there's the half. It came up well short. Stevenson checks back in, and he has the rebound. He'll bring it up the court himself to the top of the key, working against Kyle Cox, and he puts it on the floor. Cox picks up the steal. Stevenson tried to get fancy and go between the legs, and Cox swiped it from him. The Cats will go back on offense. Leggett, another 3-ball, feeling it. That one no good. A battle for the rebound, and a pushing foul will be called upon the Bobcats. And that will be on Kyle Cox, his first, and the 9th on the Cats. So we'll walk to the other end of the floor, and Dumermuth once again will head to the line with 5:04 to go. Tyler Dumermuth on the season, a 44% free throw shooter. So if I guess there's a guy that you want to put at the line, he might be the one. This one's no good. Rebound, though, comes down to Stevenson, and he'll put it back up and in.
No, I thought if it didn't hit the rim, it's a dead ball.
That might have caught just a little bit of the rim. In any event, the officials didn't blow it dead, and it stays alive, 25-20. Bobcats had an 11-point lead at one time, down to 5, and a nice feed by Turner into Lepla, who lays it in. Taylor with 5 in a game, and it's a 7-point Cambridge lead. 4.5 on the clock. Cox gives it up to Dumermuth. Lepla on him on the left wing. Back to Stevenson, top of the key. Burek feeds it out on top. McEwen to Cox. Stop, pop, off the rim. Battle for the rebound. Hatmaker high in the air to pull it down. Turner pushes it up the floor to the top of the key. Left side, Hatmaker goes baseline and forgot to put the ball on the floor. And it will be a Bobcat turnover.
7 turnovers for the Bobcats here in the first half.
Haven't heard him too much.
No, not too bad at all.
There have been a couple of opportunities they could have extended their lead and made some aggressive passes, but ill-advised, leading 27-20. The Bobcats will retreat back on defense. Thomas Norris checks back in for Cambridge with 4:05 left. Dumermuth, crossover dribble, beats the Bobcats out on top, and nobody was looking, but Cambridge had an opportunity there to pick up a steal as Dumermuth lost the ball.
Looked like Dumermuth was looking to pass it to somebody cutting, and no one was cutting there.
Inbound to Dumermuth. Back in the corner. McEwen. Top of the key. Cox. Stop. Pop. Leggett will pull down the errant shot and hand it off to Norris. Pushes it up to Cox. To Turner down low. Feeds it to Lepla. Powers it up once. Gets his own rebound. His second time and good. Offensive stick back for Taylor Lepla. Pads his offensive rebound stats. And the Cats lead it by 9. 3:35 left. McEwen for the Quakers. To Dumermuth, to Cox, a foot on the line, long jumper, good from 18 feet, and Cody Cox, 2 long threes and a 2, and it's 29-22 Bobcats.
The thing about Cox is if he's open, he's going to make it. If you got a hand in his face, he's missed so far tonight.
Quakers switch to the zone. Leggett feeds the high post. Cox back out to Norris, open for 3. Cha-ching! Thomas Norris, first 3-ball for him tonight. Cats have 4 of those, and they lead it by 10 again, 32-22 at the 3-minute mark. Right side, Zach Denham down low. Stevenson, turnaround jump shot from point blank range, and he's starting to heat up. His 6th point of the ball game. Turner open for 3. In and out, no good. That ball, I'm putting points down on my score sheet. It's far enough down, but it comes out, and the Quakers will take it the other way. Norris with the swipe. Takes it right away from Denham. Coast to coast, puts up the floater. Yes! Thomas Norris, 10 points, and he's putting on a show. Coast to coast for the Cats, 10-point lead, 34-24. 2:20 left in the opening half. Cox will try to answer a deep 3 ball for the Quakers. Rebound, knocked out of bounds, and who touched it last? The Quakers did. As both Dumermuth and Lepla battled their way into the corner, and Lepla had the ability right at the last second to knock it out of bounds off of Dumermuth, and a timeout is taken. I know the players look like they need it. I do
too. They need
some
rest, that's for sure.
34-24. Bobcats on top. Back right after this. Back at the Cats Lair as we continue action here in the second period. 34-24. The Bobcats have had a lead slightly larger than this at times, and it's been narrowed down to 5 or 6 a couple of times, but they've always been able to go on another run.
Overall, the Bobcats playing very well tonight, shooting the ball very well, good shot selection, playing good defense. Real impressed with the Bobcats tonight.
Norris gives it to Lepla on the high post. He'll take it himself into the paint, turn around to his left, puts up a shot, no good. Battle for the rebound, comes out long. Turner with another 3, touching! Winston Turner's second 3. Leggett's got 2 threes. Norris with a 3, and the Cats lead it by 13. Turner forces a loose ball, stolen by the Cats, restolen by the Quakers, and Cox finds his way to the hoop for the easy bucket. And he's got 10 in the game tonight. 37-26 Bobcats. 1:36 to go in the half. Lepla from 16, just a little outside his range. McEwen pulls it down for the Quakers, and he'll slow the pace, at least momentarily. 1:23 left to go here in the opening half. Bobcats lead it by 11. McEwen on the left wing as he looks for an open man inside. Stevenson battling with Cox for position. Can't get open. McEwen will pull it back between the circles, right side to Denham. Out on top, 18-footer DiMatteo off the back of the rim, no good. Cox rips down the rebound, out ahead to Norris. He'll push it to the middle of the floor, top of the key, into the paint, kicks it out to Hatmaker. He'll drive to the hoop. The left-hand runner is good, and Ryan Hatmaker extends the Bobcat lead to 13 again. Nice use of the left hand that time.
Nice job by Ryan Hatmaker. Good ball movement again by the Bobcats, penetrating and dishing.
39-26 Cambridge. Cox off the dribble. Looks for the backdoor cut. Had McEwen open. Didn't seem at first. Now he gives it to him. He'll feed it to Stevenson from the foul line. His 15-footer doesn't get the roll. Banged around inside. DiMatteo picked it up. McEwen now from 5. Stevenson has another look at it. He'll try to bang it off of a Bobcat, and as he did so, stepped on the end line. So it will be a turnover against the Quakers. And the Cats, leading by 13, will have another possession with 20 seconds to go. And it'll be Norris. He'll take his time dribbling up. You can be sure the Cats will look for one. And they've done everything correctly here in the first half.
Doing a very good job tonight.
See if they sell popcorn at halftime. Norris on the crossover into the paint, gives it up to Cox, and he traveled. That must be the LeBron James crab dribble or something. I didn't quite see it.
I didn't either.
5.8 left. And Burek will check back in for Denham. And the Quakers will have one more chance to try to cut into the Bobcat lead, which is 13. McEwen against full court pressure to Burek. He'll race it up across the timeline, top of the key. Stop, take the 3 ball off the rim and at the buzzer. No tip back as the Bobcats will take that double-digit lead to the locker room. 39-26. Cambridge on top of the Quakers. We'll take a break. We'll come back, stats, scoring, and more after this. As we start the second half of play, the Bobcats enjoy a 39-26 lead, and the starters back on the floor for the Bobcats include Lepla, Leggett, Linscott, Hatmaker, and Norris. For the Quakers, it will be Dumermuth, McEwen, Corns, Stevenson, and Cox. The Bobcats with that 13-point lead start with the ball and man-to-man pressure against them. Lepla out on top, looks down low, gets it to the left wing. Skip pass, right side. Leggett takes it right to the paint, lays it up and in. And the Bobcats pick up right where they left off and extend their lead to 15.
Nice pass by Norris there.
Full court pressure by the Bobcats. We haven't seen that yet. Errant pass, battle for it. Lepla uses his body to shield the ball, and the Cats have the steal. Right side, Leggett now. Looks down low, will go off the dribble, spin in the paint, go up underneath. I think he took one step too many, and the official agrees, and the Bobcats will give it back.
Leggett took that spin move, and I think he kind of lost his balance coming out of it and took an extra step to regain his balance before he went up for the shot.
41-26 Bobcats. Full court pressure. Off the dribble, up the left side. Corns to the foul line, stops, pops. That one hard off the glass, kept alive by Stevenson, and a nice athletic play to turn around, and he hammered it off of Shane Leggett, and Leggett couldn't get out of the way of that bullet.
Out of the way. He was lucky, hit him in the thigh.
Yeah. He wanted to rub it, but he didn't. Inbounds, out on top. Cox, right side. Long look at it by Corns. He didn't put that one up, though. He looked at it long enough. Back on top to McEwen. Looks inside for Stevenson, and Stevenson just being picked up all over the floor tonight by all kinds of Bobcats. Right now, Norris has him, and Stevenson wants the ball, but McEwen gets called for the double dribble, and it will go back to the Bobcats. Stevenson had the mismatch inside, but they just couldn't get him the ball.
And that's something they're going to want to do. This Stevenson's their leading scorer, and he really hasn't had a lot of touches tonight. And they're going to want to try to get him the ball here early in the third quarter, get him going.
Bobcats by 15, and they have the ball. Norris to Lepla, high-low look, right down to Linscott. Lost it on the way up, put it up, and it was off the mark. McEwen pulls it down for the Quakers. Out ahead, Dumermuth, his pass in the paint. Tipped away, and the Bobcats come up with a loose ball. Norris hard the other way. In the paint, lays it off to Leggett, puts it on the floor, takes it strong to the hoop, can't get it to fall, and Dumermuth clears it out. Wide open look, coast to coast, Tyler Corns will lay it up and in. Bobcats just got caught with nobody back defensively.
That's one of the situations where if you make the layup, they don't come down and score because you missed the layup. They had an open floor and got the basket.
Leggett again, a strong move baseline. Kicks it out to Hatmaker. He'll take it right back in the paint. Inside out past Norris for three. Cha-ching!
NBA range.
That was way out there. Norris has 13. That's his second three of the night. The Bobcats extend their lead anyway. 44-28. McEwen spin move in the paint, and Norris with another block, his second of the night, and he is moving up that blocks board. Came in with 21, needed one to tie. Jeremy Harper got that, and Tyler Brown got past those two guys, and he's moved up to 8th place on the all-time blocks list for the Cats. Feed to Stevenson. He'll take it down the middle of the lane, lay it up and in, and Stevenson found himself open with a wide open lane. 14-point Bobcat lead. 5:25 left, third period. And the Cats will work on the offense again. Lepla at the high post. Feeds it right side. Norris again for three. And foul on the shot. And that one on McEwen will give Norris, or are they going to say it was after the shot? Apparently after the shot. Will McEwen picks up his first, team's first, and the Cats will inbound it. So it must have been after he took the three-pointer.
On the box out.
Norris on the inbound. And the Cats will have another chance to add to that 14-point lead. Top of the key, off the high pick. Looks down low, has Lepla in the paint. He'll go up strong underneath the hoop. Didn't have any room to work, and that came down to Corns. Corns' pass out of control, intended for Burek, and it goes right back to the Bobcats. The Quakers just haven't been in sync all night long. Partially the Bobcats, partially the Quakers just haven't been in sync.
Yeah, you don't know if they're out of rhythm, if the coach not being here has affected them negatively or what, but like you said, they haven't been able to get any kind of rhythm or groove going on offense. And
Coach Tedrick sick, did not make it tonight. He would be sick if he was here.
That's right.
Leggett kicks it out to Norris. Norris shakes and bakes down the middle of the lane. Left everybody standing still and goes in for his 15th point of the night. And it's a 16-point Cambridge lead. Nobody would have expected this one.
He just breaks their ankles off, doesn't he? He's
so
quick.
My ankles hurt just watching him. Dumermuth gives it up to Cox with 4:20 left here in the third. A third period that's seen the Bobcats extend their 13-point halftime lead. Dumermuth at the high post, hands it off to Cox. He was off balance and just threw it at the basket. I don't think he was expecting that ball to come back to him. Out ahead, the Cats throw an errant pass. Thomas Norris will chase down the attempted steal in the backcourt. Get it up the floor to Hatmaker. off the dribble. Kicks it out to Lepla. Baseline move to him. Back out to Hatmaker. He'll go baseline. Stop. Get the troops airborne and shuffle his feet. I thought he got away with the travel out when he put the ball on the floor to begin with. So
and Hatmaker's real close about every time he touches the ball because he takes a step and a half before he puts the ball on the floor, as opposed to starting the dribble first and then taking the steps.
And almost always he's going to take it to the basket, and
yep.
So there's always that movement with his feet. The Cats give it up, but still lead it by 14, or 16, that is. 30 for the Quakers, 46 for the Cats with 3:40 left in the third. DiMatteo, who just checked in, has it on the right wing. Gives it to Stevenson. He'll go hard down the lane, put up the shot, in and out, no good. And he'll head to the line, and it could be on Jordan Linscott, and I believe it is his third. So Linscott got off quick tonight for the Cats, the first 6 points of the ball game. But since then he struggled, and now with his third foul, sends Stevenson to the line to shoot 2.
I don't know that he struggled as much as he just hasn't been in it because he's been in foul trouble.
Stevenson first, yeah, that's true too. His first is good. As John Stevenson on the year is 66% free throw shooter. As number 2 coming up. And number 2, David Lawrence, checks in for the Quakers, and Stevenson cans them both. Stevenson with 10 in the game. Norris takes the inbounds, out ahead. The Hatmaker back to Norris. 3:25 left to the high post. Lepla puts it on the floor, takes it right to the paint. Spin move, goes in and out. Rebounded again by Lepla, and for the second time tonight, Taylor Lepla gets his own rebound and sticks it back in. 48-32. Full court pressure by the Bobcats, and Lawrence having his trouble, and a foul will be called as Shane Leggett right in Lawrence's hip pocket all the way up the floor, and the official thought that maybe Leggett was just a little too closer than a hip pocket.
Maybe got a hold of his jersey. Looked like he might have caught his thumb on his jersey there too, which could have triggered the foul to be called.
Just the second on the Bobcats of the half. Leggett second. 3 minutes coming up on the clock, and the Bobcats lead it handily, 48-32. Burek looking for the inside feed. Right side, Cox now. Back to Burek. He'll put it on the floor, take it into paint, lay it up and in. Matt Burek had an open lane and no weak side help for the Cats that time.
Did a good job taking it baseline solid open there.
2:45 left, third period. Hatmaker to Lepla. He'll use the moving screen that time by Linscott. And Lepla, 4 in the period, 11 in the ball game. And the Bobcats, Norris picks up another steal from Burek. Takes him in the paint, left hand, and one. Thomas Norris, 7 in the period, 17 in the game, and yet another steal, and he'll draw the foul on Matt Burek, his third, and another opportunity for a three-point play.
Thomas Norris is the whole package out there. There's no doubt about it. Kid can jump high, sky, rebound, block shots, get steals.
Kyle Cox checks in for the Cats as Norris has the line. Winston Turner back in the game for Cambridge as well. And Norris back on track at the free throw line as well. Three-point play is good, and the Bobcats lead it 53-34. And Norris getting a little greedy.
He could foul too.
Getting a little greedy. He picks up a foul, his second, and the third on the Cats. 18 points for Thomas on the night, and we are still with 2 minutes and 25 seconds to go here in the third period. Inbounded, and Winston Turner creates the turnover. Turner got a hand on it, be able to knock it out of bounds off of David Lawrence, and a timeout taken by the Quakers. Bobcats on top, 53-34. We'll be back after this. 53-34 our score, and the Bobcats have created as much offense with their defense tonight. And again, another opportunity here off of a defensive play. Inbounded to the Bobcats. Lepla, and Linscott took the lob from Lepla and then got hammered. And if that's on Burek, I believe it's number 4, and it will be Matt Burek's 4th foul. And the third on the team, and the Quakers will have to make a move. McEwen gets back in the ballgame, and Burek will sit down with 4 fouls on the night. And he's got as many fouls as points. Cambridge with another look. Norris inbounds it to Turner. Looked at the three, puts it on the floor, finds his way all the way to the hoop and lays it up and in. Somehow Turner found the Red Sea parting, and Winston has 10 in the ball game. The Bobcats have 3 players in double figures. Cox off the crossover. Left side to McEwen. Feed down low. Stevenson lost it, got it, shot it, and made it. Stevenson, pretty impressive when he gets the ball on the low block.
Yeah, and good job showing his hands that time. Ball tipped away. He's able to bring it down and control it and still go up with a good shot.
Bobcats 55-36. Linscott tried to feed it to Lepla. Lepla goes to the floor on the loose ball, and a tie-up, and possession error will favor the Quakers.
That'll hurt your hip when you fall on a ball like that.
Lepla didn't hesitate, and he wouldn't,
oh, he
and he never does.
No,
I mean, any opportunity he gets to be physical, whether it's with another player.
He reminds me of a player that I saw play down at Ohio University who was a linebacker who, after his eligibility was up in football, played basketball, and he used to send towel boys flying all the time.
Norris got a hand on it, stole it away. Linscott controlled it, back to Norris. Turner, top of the key, goes down the lane, and he'll get hacked. This one by David Lawrence.
Hacked, that looked like a horse collar to me.
He just grabbed him, and I believe they'll call that a shooting foul, although I'm not sure Winston was going to shoot it. He might have been looking for somebody to dish it off to because he was a little out of control, but he'll get bailed out and head to the line.
What did you just say? You don't think Winston was going to shoot it?
I didn't.
You don't say that very often.
Well, it kind of looked like he was going to dish that one, but in any event, he will get the free throw, and the first one is good. Winston comes in tonight at the free throw line, shooting 68%, is now 2 of 3, is now 3 of 4.
I want to point out the Bobcats now with 57 points. Their season average per game is 56 points, so they're above their season average already with a minute 30 to go here in the third quarter.
Defensively, holding the Quakers well below what they give up per game. Cox on the stop and pop, and the air ball tipped back inbounds, and David Lawrence will pick up the loose foul or loose ball. Back to DiMatteo. His shot errant, got his own rebound, sticks it back up, and one. As DiMatteo gets his first bucket of the game and will draw the foul on Lepla, I believe. And Taylor has picked up his second. Tyler Corns back in the ball game for Stevenson. Stevenson had 6 in the period, 12 in the ball game for the Quakers. And he's been really their only consistent offensive threat in this half. Cox had 10 at halftime. He hasn't scored yet. And DiMatteo at the line knocks down the free throw for the three-point play. Turner against Lawrence in the backcourt. And Cambridge on top, 57-39. Feed down low. Linscott, little baby hook shot, no good. Lepla with the rebound. Behind the back pass, back out on top to Turner. His shot blocked. And the battle for the loose ball is there's Lepla on the floor again, rolling around with Will McEwen. And a whistle blows, and the players have to be separated by, most of the officials and players on the floor. And the whistle blew, and I still don't know who they called, if it's just a tie-up, and this time we'll go back to the Bobcats. No foul called.
Yeah,
and
Lepla
will get, I won't say 1 minute in the penalty box. The coach will just, he'll be sent to cooling off time as Ben Shepard checks in for the Cats. 1:03 left in the period. And they're actually going to give it to the Quakers. Out ahead. Turner thought he had judged the distance and went for the steal. Instead, Winston Turner will pick up the foul. His second. Team's sixth. And the only thing the Bobcats don't want to do at this point is start putting the Quakers on the foul line. Linscott playing the passing lane, came up with a steal, coast to coast. His shot no good. Norris with the rebound, can't stick it in, but there is Kyle Cox, and the Bobcats have owned the offensive glass tonight. They've played keep away up there till they can knock it in. 59-39, a 20-point Bobcat lead. 38 left in the quarter. Long three by Corns. Bullseye for Tyler Corns. His first three of the night. That's the Cats lead to 17. And Cambridge will slow it down with 22 ticks left. Thomas Norris will dribble alone out on top and wait for the Cats to take one more shot. 13-second mark, he'll get in motion. Left side, looks down low, tried to bounce it inside to Linscott. Stolen away and re-stolen by Turner, and a push called. DiMatteo just away, and I'm sure that's who the foul will be on. Indeed it is. DiMatteo picks up his first, team's fifth, and the Bobcats will get another quick look with 3.6 left. DiMattio's second, actually. Cox quickly to Turner to half court. Stops. Deep three at the buzzer. Just short.
Front of the rim.
Yeah. The way the Bobcats shooting tonight, you expected that to go in. 59-42. Cats with the commanding lead as we head to the fourth period. Back after this. Back at the Cats lair. 59-42 as we head into the final period of play. And the Bobcats, who have led this thing by as many as 20 a couple of times, have the ball to start the period. They haven't cooled off much.
No, shot the ball very well once again, 8 of 15 in that period.
High post, this time LePage on the handoff and a reach-in foul called. And McEwen will pick up his second and the 6th on the team. So from this point out, both teams are going to be heading to the line on foul calls with 7:51 left to go. And the Cats' Turner will take it into the top of the key. To Shepard on the high post, tapped away from him. Dumermuth, the bull in the china shop there. Man, he just went through Turner. No foul called, but the Bobcats will retain possession. Dumermuth, an outstanding football player, and that was more of a football move right there.
It really was a nice block.
LePage. Ball tapped out of his hands, and he lost control of it and then knocked it out of bounds. And a little pressure defense on Luke, and Stevenson giving him fits. The Bobcats eventually do turn it over as the Quakers come out a little more aggressively to start the fourth period. High post is Stevenson. Turns around, squares up, backs his way to the hoop, puts up the runner, and draws the foul. LePage picks up foul number 3. Now Luke tonight has had a tough time defensively. He had to guard Dumermuth a couple of plays, and now Stevenson, and it's a tough play either way.
And you know what, Luke's working hard out there doing the best he can. I just don't know that he's got the ability to match up with some of these better athletes in this league.
That one by Stevenson is good as well. Well, those two guys are as good as you're going to see. Quickness-wise, strength-wise. Stevenson just a sophomore, but at 6'5", he moves as well as a guard and shoots like one sometimes. And at the foul line tonight, he finally misses one and is 3 of 4. Shepard with the rebound to Turner. And the Cats lead at 59-43. Quakers gambling with the double team. Leggett splits them, tried to get it inside, and threw a bad pass that LePage couldn't handle. Stevenson led the fast break, gives it up to Cox. Tries to look inside for Stevenson. Instead, he'll come way out on top and take it, feed it down low. Power move inside by Dumermuth, and he'll draw the foul this time on the Bobcats' Ben Shepard.
Shepard just leaning a little bit too much on Dumermuth's back, and he gets called for the foul.
And those are two physical guys. Shepard wants to bang, and certainly that's the game that Dumermuth would prefer to play as well. As Tyler gets to the line and knocks his first one down here of the fourth period. Dumermuth is a good guy to foul, though, because he only shoots about 44%. And on the night here, he has been less than 50% as well, which means he should miss this one. Man, he doesn't.
Reverse jinx.
Yes, the reverse jinx. 59-45. Bobcats with 6:55 to go in full court pressure. Linscott in the backcourt to Shepard, and the Bobcats will have to burn a timeout there. They had the big guys trying to pass the ball over top, never got it there, and they'll take a timeout leading 59-45. We will too, back after this. Back at the Cats lair with 6:49 left to go in this one. The Bobcats in control, 59-45. They need to put on the finishing touches here, though.
That's right. You can't let up. Of course, Philly has a chance of the potential to come back. Obviously, you would hope not from this far down, but Cambridge still needs to play hard with some intensity. Turner
between the circles for the Bobcat to Leggett and to Hatmakers. The Bobcats trying to eat a little clock. The feed down low intended for Linscott. Knocked out of bounds. Well, Dumermuth got to it and then turned around, and if Linscott wouldn't have chased him out of bounds, he wouldn't have had anybody to throw the ball off of. As it is, and the pass thrown right to Ben Shepard. Shepard stepped right in the passing lane and got the re-steal for the Bobcats. A lot of turnovers have taken place tonight.
Here, but
for both teams, really.
Yes, yes.
59-45, Cats with the ball at the 6:15 mark. As Thomas Norris waits at the scorer's table to check in, Turner dribbles out of a double team, Back to Leggett, high post, down to the low post. Shepard from point blank range, doesn't get the roll. Linscott, stick back, just short. And Dumermuth on the rebound is fouled by the Bobcats. Some frustration that time as the Cats had 3 good looks at it in the paint and unable to make any of them.
And again, Bobcats going back to kind of a fadeaway jumper as opposed to taking a power step in or power dribble to the hoop and going off the glass. Linscott kind of throwing it up with one hand instead of taking it up strong with 2 hands. They really need to go to that basket strong.
19 foul on the Cats. It'll be a 1-1 for Dumermuth. Shane Leggett picked up his 3rd. And the Cats go quick as Dumermuth has found a stroke here. He's 3 in a row. And having 5, 4, 8 in the ball game. Second one by the left-hander is up and good. Somebody better tell him he's a 44%
right.
free throw shooter. Cats with Hatmaker, Norris, Turner, Leggett, and Linscott in the ball game are pretty quick right now on the floor. Norris with it. He'll take it baseline left side, and Stevenson swatted that one away. You don't see that happen to Thomas Norris very often.
Very often, that's for sure.
5:45 left in the game. 12-point Bobcat lead. It has been as high as 20. Linscott reaches for the steal. Stevenson takes it in the paint and gives it up to Turner. Out ahead, Hatmaker, left-hand layup, aiming no good, but there is Thomas Norris. Stick back, and it's a Bobcats bucket and almost another steal. 61-47 is Norris now with 20 on the night. Pretty hard not to look at him as our Crino's Pizza Player of the Game, but wow,
a lot of guys
step
good
up
numbers tonight. That's for sure.
Cox with the inbounds in the backcourt works against Hatmaker. 5:20 to go in the ball game. Right side, McEwen down low, Stevenson, and wow, that can't make you feel too bad if you're Luke LePage because Linscott got stuck standing there with thin air. Norris, the Red Sea parts, and Thomas Norris just beats everybody to the hoop, and they'll let him have it as Dumermuth goes back the other way, can't get it. Linscott with the rebound, hands it over to Norris, and the Bobcats will push it back the other way as it's become a racehorse game. Leggett with the baseline move will head to the line on the foul. And 2 shots for him as the foul on Tyler Corns, I think. And it is. Tyler Corns picks up his 3rd. Leggett to the line for 2. Shane 8 points on the evening. Give him 9. And Shane's free throw shooting has gradually gotten better as the season has gone on too. He's up over 63% now. And dropped a couple of early threes in the first period tonight to get the Bobcats scoring started, and things have snowballed since then. And they lead at 64-49. Second opportunity for Leggett is good. Another Bobcat in double figures tonight. Full court pressure. Stevenson into Burek, who checks back in with 4 fouls, working against Norris. Top of the key, gives it up right side. Corns, long 3, banks it in, and it hits its mark. Tyler Corns lucky enough to get the bank that time. His second 3, and it's a 65-52 ball game as the Quakers will take a timeout. We will too. Back with more basketball right after this. Deep into the 4th period with a big lead here, and the ball.
Playing very well, shooting the ball very well, and kind of fun to watch him again. Wasn't fun to watch him, I don't think, the last 2 games, but this game certainly fun to watch.
Kind of painful. Tonight, the Cats are inflicting the pain. Norris on the inbounds, beats the defense up the floor, dribbles between virtually every defender and teammate.
Kind of looks like Curly Neal out there.
Then back out on top under control to Turner in the corner. He'll fake the 3, and then a kick save by Tyler Corns. That one went the length of the floor. Yeah, he did. He got all of that one. That would have been about a 35-yard punt in football.
I don't know if Corns is a football player or a soccer player. That kind of looked like a soccer player.
It did.
Yeah.
He had the quick feet that time. 65-52 with 4:21 left in the game. Inbounds for the Bobcats to Leggett. Both teams in the bonus at the foul line. Double team. Gives it up to Hatmaker. Cats have the quick team on the floor. Hatmaker Gives it to Turner in the corner, and Hatmaker a little out of control. And we talked about when you leave your feet and you're airborne, there's not a whole lot you can do, and that's exactly what happened to Ryan that time.
Yeah, you got to keep your feet to make those passes or make shots. A lot of times you need a little bit of some foundation, I guess, in order to make a good pass.
Burek nearly loses the ball. Norris gets to the floor, ties him up, and the arrow goes for the Bobcats. So, indeed, the Cats will get possession of the ball.
That's 20 turnovers for New Philadelphia tonight.
And, yeah, they have struggled with their ball handling. Bobcats defense has stepped it up a little bit as well, and the Cats have a chance to add on to that 13-point lead. Well, they got the arrow messed up over there.
It was going the other way.
They had a point for the Bobcats that actually was to the Quakers. Now we'll switch back to the Cats. Corns outside the line, tried to put up the three-pointer, lost it on the way up, and they'll say that Winston Turner got a piece of that one. Under 4 minutes left here as the Bobcats try to hold on to the double-digit lead. Burek back to Corns. Pull-up jumper from deep range. Off the rim, no good. Rebounded, Hatmaker to Norris, coast to coast, puts it up, and he was fouled. Hard foul that time as Corns tried to hustle back, and I don't know, it's kind of halfway in between drawing a foul and trying to draw the charge, and in any event, he did draw the foul, his fourth, and Thomas Norris will head back to the line. Thomas Norris has been to the line numerous times tonight. 5 in the first period, 1 in the third, and now 2 more here in the fourth. And as the game has gone on, well, I was going to say as the game's gone on, he's starting to find his range a little bit. Thomas made his first one, missed 4, then made 1, and now has missed it again. And
seems like that ball must be coming off a little off, not on the middle fingers. Everything kind of rims out and goes to the right. Every single one he's missed.
He's made everything else tonight except the free throws.
The free throws, yep.
22 in the game. Now that one puts him on the odd point. 23 points for Norris. And Zach Denham checks out. Cody Cox back in for the Quakers. 66-52 with 3:44 to go. McEwen on the inbounds against full court pressure. Kyle Cox picks him up outside the three-point arc. Inside out pass. DiMatteo, left side Burek. Looks down low for Stevenson. Covered up. Now he'll get the errant pass on the tip, and it will be a Linscott reach in.
It almost looked like Corns meant to tip that to Stevenson the way it went through
right
there,
to him. Through his hands and right into the hands of Stevenson. And Linscott picks up his fourth foul. And Stevenson back to the line where he's 3 of 4 tonight. 15 points on the night for Stevenson. And he's back in the role as well. 16 and 1 on the count here. As Will McEwen checks in for Burek. Dumermuth back in for the stretch run. 66-53 Bobcats. Stevenson up and in and out, no good. DiMatteo with the tip up, no good, and knocked out of bounds. Touched last by Shane Leggett. He didn't agree with that. He was in a Quaker sandwich there. Would probably think that they may have gotten a little more of it than him. Nevertheless, the Quakers on the inbounds. McEwen will trigger it in. Looks inside, nobody there. Now backdoor cut by DiMatteo, and he'll draw the foul and 1. DiMatteo has just sent Mr. Linscott to the bench, I believe, with foul number 5. Indeed. Jordan. You don't get any more than 5. And DiMatteo with an opportunity for another. He's scored once before and had a 3-point play in the third period. He'll have another chance for one here, and the Bobcats will have to replace Linscott, and that will be Mr. Lepla, who looks like he's sufficiently cooled down. Nice effort tonight by Jordan.
Linscott did a nice job tonight. Now he was in foul trouble a good part of the night when he was in there. Did a really nice job getting on the boards, boxing out, helping create some offense by setting some screens. And when he did get a chance, he would have took it up strong as well.
Had 6 quick points for the Cats tonight in the first period. 3-point play chance, not there. Lepla with the rebound, and they'll call the reach in on Zach Denham. And that will send the Bobcats to the line. Zach Denham picks up his first. 9th on the team, and a 1-1 chance for Taylor Lepla, who's been to the line now 4 times tonight and has knocked down 3 of 4. And mass offensive, defensive substitutions for the Quakers as Denham and McEwen head to the line, and Burek and Corns check back in. The 11-point Bobcat lead. Lepla, front end of the 1-1 is good. And these are the ones that are really key for the Bobcats. Is to go to the line when they count here in the 4th period and make them. Make them when they count.
New Philadelphia's going to try to, get a basket, foul real quick. And
second one no good. Leggett with the rebound. Big rebound for the Cats. Skips it across for Norris, and the Cats will burn more clock. Back to Leggett. And he's fouled. This time, Cody Cox got stuck with his hand in the cookie jar, and he'll send Leggett to the line. And Bobcats with some free throw shooters out there right now. Between Leggett, Norris, and Turner, you got 3 guys there at 65% or better. Leggett, who's 2 for 2 tonight. And come on, Shane, I'm talking you up here as he drops the first one off the back of the rim and it bounces away. Second opportunity is up, and that one is good. 3 of 4 in the period for Shane at the line. The Cats lead it again by 13. 3:05 left in the period. Cox gives it up in the corner. Burek off the dribble, stops, pops, front rim, no good. Tipped around inside. Burek with the rebound, puts it up again. This one off the mark as well. Battle for the rebound. Lepla just rips it away from Dumermuth. Out to Norris. Norris on the way to the hoop, lost his balance, and the ball knocked out of his hands and out of bounds. The Cats will somehow retain possession out of that, and Thomas went to his tailbone pretty hard there.
Thomas has taken a beating tonight when he's gone to the basket on breakaways. New Philly coming down and found him pretty hard a lot of times.
He could have just dribbled that one out and not gone for the hoop, and the Cats indeed will pull it back out on top. Turner hands it over to Norris. Down the middle of the lane, feeds it to Lepla, takes it up and lays it in. And another Norris assist tonight. He's got a bunch of those, and the Cats lead back up to 15. Cox hands it off to Corns. He'll take it down to the middle lane, lost it momentarily. Back to Stevenson, a foot on the line. His 2-pointer, a long one, no good. Tip back in bounds, and Burek drew the foul and one. Count the basket for Matt Burek. Only his 3rd of the night, but he drew the foul on Lepla, his 4th. There's still time left in this ball game, and the Bobcats are hacking away like they're trying to cut the tree down here. 2:19 to go, and Lepla picks up his 4th. 3-point play chance not there. Lepla with the rebound. 70-57 Cambridge. Norris splits defenders, no look pass to Leggett, and Leggett is held by Denham. That will be the 10th team foul, and the Cats will shoot 2 as Zach Denham picks up his 2nd. And the Quakers, obviously, the strategy here is to foul early, foul often, and foul everyone.
They're not being too selective.
They are not being selective at all.
Yeah,
whoever has it, foul him. Leggett heads the line for 2 more. Shane, perfect on the first one. And again, the offensive defensive substitutions for the Quakers. Still 2:08 to go. And it's 71-57 Bobcats. Leggett makes it 72.
And I'm pretty sure the Bobcats haven't scored over 70 this year. It'd be their first time, at least in my memory.
Inbound to Cox, you're probably right. Across the timeline to the 2-minute mark. He'll take the deep 3. Cha-ching by Cody Cox. He's got 3 threes on the night. That's his first point, though, of the second half. Lepla to Kyle Cox for the Cats. Out ahead to Turner. To Norris. Down the middle of the lane, and he is just hammered by Cox, who threw a shoulder into him. And Cody Cox picks up his 2nd. And the Quakers will not go quietly into the night.
No, they're fighting. They keep fighting back. And this lead was, 20, 21 points at one point, down to 12 right now.
Norris for 2 opportunities at the line. First one is up and good for Thomas, who now has 24 points. I think that's probably his season high, maybe career high. 73-60. Bobcats. Norris's 2nd free throw is up and off the mark. Rebounded. Well, Lepla had it momentarily and then stepped on the end line. Cats have already been to the line 12 times here in the fourth period alone. Lead it by 13. And undoubtedly will be at the line a few more. Stevenson just tried to bank it off of a Bobcat and unable to do so. And Turner came down with a loose ball and Burek fouled him. And now the Quakers will start to run out of fouls as Matt Burek will head to the bench with foul number 5. Matt on the night, 5 fouls, 6 points. Jordan Linscott had 5 fouls and 6 points. And Winston Turner with 2 free throws coming up. And the first one is good.
Winston having a nice game off the bench tonight for the Bobcats.
Another double-digit night, 10 points. Free throws coming up. One good, second one no good. And again, Leggett or Chekat Lepla keeps it alive. So the Bobcats' offensive rebounds tonight have just been incredible.
Bobcats doing a great job on the boards, especially Lepla. I think he's got over 10 now.
Leggett dribbles between defenders, leaves them behind him, takes it to the hoop and lays it in, and the Cats lead it by 16. A minute 26 left. Cody Cox splits defenders down the middle of the paint, puts up the runner, and he'll get it to go. Leggett, or Lepla that time, trying to draw the charge, and I thought he had pretty good position. They didn't give it to him, but the shot good by Cody Cox, and the timeout called quickly by the Quakers with Cambridge on top 76-62. We'll be back after this. Bobcats will have a tough week on the road next week as they have to travel to Coshocton and to Claymont. Ben Shepard on the inbounds, and after 4 seconds can't get it in, and another timeout burned this time by the Bobcats. We'll just keep it right here with the score 76-62. Cambridge on top, and the Bobcats have there have been phases of the game tonight. They haven't been maybe on their game the whole time, but you can look. The free throw shooting has been there most of the time. The three-point shooting has been outstanding. Defensively, the Cats have played pretty well. At times, the ball handling has been real good. There's been a couple of times there have been some passes you say, oh, no, but
yeah.
So you might get that when you're up by double digits.
They have 18 turnovers, which is a little higher than what you might like, but as you said earlier, Bill, it really hasn't hurt them that much. They haven't been turned into quick, instant points, as they've seen, like Marietta got a lot of turnovers, instant points for them. So they've done a good job of, even when they have turned it over, they haven't been critical turnovers.
Pace of the game has been up and down at times as the Cats have 76 points, a season high. Shepard gets it in for Hatmaker and stolen away by Cox to Denham. Corns, 3-ball, top of the key, bullseye by Tyler Corns, his third 3. And it's a 11-point Bobcat lead and a foul in the backcourt on Cody Cox. And this time it will be Hatmaker who will hit the line. Ryan seems to be around the ball all the time, but not always with the ball. He's only got 2 points in the game, and it just seems like you ought to have more than that. As a free throw shooter, he's a good one at 71%. And I guess I jinxed him too.
The ball hung on the front of the rim and just didn't fall over it.
Cats have been to the line a boatload here in the fourth period, and with a minute 7 to go, still probably several more chances there. All of these count big time, and Ryan can't get them both. Again, the Cats get the offensive rebound. This time, LePage. Jamiel into the ball game. Puts up the deep 3. Rebound stick back by Shepard. Hatmaker gets it back and puts it back up. 3 offensive rebounds for the Cats in that possession. And they're shooting it probably when they shouldn't, and they still get an opportunity to knock it in. DiMatteo turn around off the glass. No good. Shepard with the rebound to Norris. And I think he might slow things down a bit. Up the right sideline. Splits one defender, 2, 3, 4. Lays it up. Jamiel shot rejected by McEwen. Probably shouldn't have taken that one either. To Corns. 3-ball. Cha-ching. Kyler Corns with 4 threes. And it's a 10-point Bobcat lead. Norris up the floor. And he'll be hip checked into the boards. Tyler Corns just hammered him out of bounds. Corns will go over and help him out. As Corns picks up his 5th foul. And that was, as I wouldn't call it flagrant, but it was violent.
He put his whole body and tried to get in front of Norris. Of course, Norris comes with so much speed. Anytime and he's so light that if you just get a little body, he's gonna he's gonna go fly.
Norris was moving pretty good.
No, I think that's 5 on Corns.
That is 5 on Corns. Regardless, a lot of fans want him taken out of the game. The coach won't have the option. He has used all the fouls he's allowed in high school basketball. 78-68 with 19 seconds to go. Norris will head to the line and shoot 2. First one is up and no good. He'll draw the second one, and Thomas is going to be not only tired after this, and he's going to be sore.
I told you, he's been taking a beating in there.
He's been on the floor on his backside, on his front side, and on both sides.
Yeah.
Second free throw is up and good. And Turner will check in, and Thomas Norris will check out with 25 points. Nice ovation for him and a nice ball game. Stevenson inbounds to McEwen. The 11-point Bobcat lead. McEwen will race it up the floor, top of the key, give it up. Stevenson looked at a 3, stops, pops, front rims it. Dumermuth sticks it back up and in.
Nice left hand by Dumermuth.
79-70. Inbounded over the head of the Bobcats, and it'll be another Cambridge turnover. And with 3 seconds left, the Quakers have an opportunity to change the final score, but not the outcome. 79-70, Cambridge. And the Quakers will inbound it one more time. And it will be Will McEwen out on top. Stevenson, top of the key. Long 3. Bullseye for John Stevenson. It will change his individual stats and our final score, but not tonight's outcome, as the Cambridge Bobcats win this one 79-73 over the new Philadelphia Quakers. Bobcats move to 8-4 on the season and 6-1 in the East Central Ohio League. The Quakers will drop to 8-3 and 3-2. Once again, the final score from the Cats there: Cambridge 79, New Philadelphia 73. We'll be back after this.